is what time do you spend to learn and how much do you learn? And because you haven't learned enough, you hide behind spirituality in quote and slam anything on the face of God. And the heartbreaking part is because you are not learning, when those that are learning are delivering, you criticize. But in this year, resolve to learn. Resolve to upgrade yourself. Resolve to give the God who gives you perfection as well. When you are giving that song to minister on Sunday morning, take ample time off and learn every lyrics correctly. When the lyrics are jammed up in your head, don't run into tongues. When you begin that song and you choose the wrong key because you didn't even rehearse it, and you're about to hit that note and you know it won't go, don't slam into tongues. And you now so here. I see dark Kenya couple. I want Where did the ding go? So guess what? If you had spent time rehearsing that song before taking that microphone, you would have known which key to sing. Study to show yourself approved. Some of us in all our itineraries still make time to rehearse. Like my father said, his school is by prayer and fasting. Some of us have enrolled in that school, and we are still learning from that school. Regardless, we've also decided to learn from the other side of the coin. And please don't be deceived, he rehearses. I'll send you a WhatsApp video one of these days. Don't be deceived. He really, really rehearses. So make time and rehearse. 3 things I'm going to talk about tonight in our line of delivery as ministers. The first thing I want to talk about is dynamics. And this goes to both musicians and vocalists. Dynamics. It's not enough just knowing the song. It's how you deliver the song. In our line of knowledge, there are 3 forms of dynamics. We have the flat dynamics, the ascending dynamics, and the descending dynamics. Flat dynamics is when you stay on the same level of delivery in all vocal and volume essence from beginning to the end. Flat dynamics is often applied to songs when you have a short duration of delivery. I don't know if you're right, but flat dynamics means that I have 3 minutes to establish what I have to sing. That means I don't have the luxury of time to build the song to a hype state. So the song would have to be pinched on a particular level right from the beginning until it ends. That is flat dynamics. The fact that it's flat doesn't mean it's low. The fact that it's flat means that the level on which you start your jamming is carried through till the end. It doesn't fall, it doesn't rise. So it happens, one, when you have a short duration to establish what you have to deliver, or it is an anthem. God be praised. You know that song, right? Are you aware that song never rises and falls? Till it ends. That is flat dynamics. Let me step out of this box a bit into practical settings. A lot of times when we watch most of these vocal auditions, like The Voice, the American Idols, they have very little time to establish what they have. So they don't have the luxury of time to warm up the audience. Right from the get-go, you pinch it at a level and you stay there until you are done. All right? Flat dynamics. The next dynamic type is the ascending dynamics. Ascending dynamics is when you have the luxury of time to build your hype. If we had a board here, I'd have drawn the graph for us to see. You start on a level, climb up, hype it, and then you descend. But when you descend, you don't end on the same level you started with. Your descending is still on a higher level than when you started with. Are we following? Yeah. Okay. The next dynamics is the descending, which means that you start up there and you bring it down. 3 types of dynamics. The type of dynamics you decide to use, 1, is dependent on the time you have. 2, the genre of the song you are singing. 3, your audience and their level of understanding of music. Which means that it's not everything you know that you apply at any point in time. Consider your listeners. Please, do you understand? Yes. So you have an opportunity to be in a typical Presbyterian church. Typical. Then you're given the microphone to sing. Then I may fa me wire to me wura. Someone say that. Sorry. That's it. But you just came out of KNUST, the School of Music, and other courses. So when you took the mic, you just remembered your last intellectual feel. Then I may find me to me. So, audience no they don't get it. So it is not everything that we have in our bowl that we give off on the table at every point in time. So when you take the microphone to minister, how much time do I have? 1, that will help you decide what kind of graph I would want to use. If you get your audience hyped too early and you don't have the energy to carry them through, they sink. So you need to tickle it, considering the time you have away from anointing, with all due respect. Are you following me? Yes. So it rises like that. The second thing is, what type of songs am I singing? There's one genre of song that applies flat graphics. It doesn't go anywhere. Reggae. You can never rise and fall reggae. Right from the get-go, it's there. But you see, you don't know these things because we haven't subjected to learning. So you take the mic on Sunday morning, and then the drama begins. Every time I think about, I think I was slow motion, but every time I read, oh, wet you. Every time I drama is every time I oh, it's flat. Get the energy going. So take note of this. Sometimes I listen to a lot of vocalists sing, and it has no dynamics. The entire song doesn't rise and fall nowhere. And that's why we've bypassed, in quote, all our products in Ghana, and everyone is downloading Travis Green and Nathaniel Bassey and the McDowells, and aside the anointing, they respect the rules of the discipline. There's nothing like your presence, Lord. All I want is to be with you. There's nothing like your presence, Lord. All I want is to be with you. There's nothing like your presence, Lord. All I want is to be with you. There's nothing like Your presence, Lord. All I want is to be with you. You. And yet, Nana Antonisa. You. Sane out. You. I'm out pitch bend. You. So please, let's apply it right. Whatever sounds good in your ear, please try as much as possible to deliver sing. And let me say this, especially those of us vocalists who like to do the typical Ghanaian local pieces, like the Christiana Loves and the Gift Yourselves, and that's another genre on its own. But the principle is the same. What to gift yourself now? It's not because it's Christiana Love when you go out of key is permitted. No. Please, you understand? So a lot of times we tend to think that munja kechene mam no for seminal. No afa mic, o say F sharp, ubie wanu a one nam A. Please, do you understand? Yes. And in the line of our submission, please, let me slip this in. Atmospheres are created not just by what people are hearing vocally, by how you are carrying yourself about as well. Take note of this. It means a lot to me. We create atmospheres by both what we hear and what we see. You're a praise and worship leader, you come up stage. Very powerful one. While coming up stage, you are chewing gum. You take the mic and you are like this. Onyame wayemye wayemuye woda. Onyame wayemye. The song is sung, but I can bet you no one will take you serious. Now you just say, no sweating, what it is. That's it. Packaging. And the only reason why McDowell will walk through those doors and you will stand still and watch him come to sit in his seat is not because he's McDowell. Packaging. Even if you should take the mic and not sing anything, you've come to respect the package. So drummers, when you sweat after a gig, change that shirt. You've been holding that huge towel from January to December. You be a towel, you makala biya wo mubi. Unim se colors ninja no untoke toa. Anya to wine. Ato baby pink so ye bema. No, I'm being very serious. So after that nice play, serious drama, everyone loves you. Your point your bound, your peja on sapi na mafuati teto. Meanwhile, Benny hasn't hired your extended services. Vocalists, when you grin, there's every color on your teeth. Green, yellow. See, I don't take workshops like this for granted because this is one of the avenues where we get to learn. Someone can sing before you and by the time the person is done, you don't want to hold this microphone. Because vibe ninye. And it will surprise you to know how much that can affect the next minister. The person may have prepared so well spiritually, physically. Or G Mike no vibe now boyshia no. I feel now all reorganizing your man when team. By the time the person is done reorganizing, her time is up. Meanwhile, when the person was coming, the person actually intended to take the mic and start. Or G Mike no vibe no oh Betty bobo. Vibe na ma was standing yum call they starting. Keep your mouth clean. That is where your vocals is passing through. Keep the color white. Apple cream and call yellow. So branding, packaging, it affects the delivery. Aside the fact that you respect how you're going to work out the dynamics, because guess what? If you can keep your listeners listening to you from the beginning to the end of your ministration, it is how well you are handling every minute of yourself on stage. You can go for a program and someone can raise a song. What was up here? You won't tip. But someone can pick the mic. Oh, page and you map. Hey, why no? Please, do you understand? So let's check some of these things. The second thing I want to talk about is diction. I think it's getting in the way of our delivery as vocalists. Please, every language you decide to sing in, make sure you are pronouncing the words right. When you change the pronunciation, you may change the meaning. Especially when it's a local dialect, not just Ghanaian local, any local dialect. Take a South African song. If you substitute for waiting. So let's get it right. Diction. The fact that it's an English song doesn't mean put L everywhere. And the fact that you just came from UK doesn't mean when it's a tree song to put L everywhere. L for sale. Oh, you. No, don't you walk. Hold on. L for sale. Oh, the L not by my own cry. L oh, you. Watch it. It's an English song. You give times and seasons and season. And you're bro, and only phonetics. Yes, and, not and. You call for light out of darkness. You don't need no man to be the God, not the God. I've been thinking. What have you been thinking? Oh, Jesus, the thought of you, the thought. Redress. Diction. So sometimes in an attempt to deliver a foreign song, we exaggerate the English. Lord, I give you my heart. But I want to believe that as much as we are laughing over this, we are taking home what we have to take home. Because sometimes when I scroll through social media, I see people's videos, solid vocals, solid singing, boom. Respect the language, because at the end of the day, whatever we sing is to convey a message. So if how you're going to pronounce the words is going to alter the message, then what are you doing? Yehovah Jimmy la ella la la. Respect it. So from today, if you have to learn any language, any dialect you don't understand, collect samples of songs and see how it is pronounced. I know in Ewe they have where, they have fe. It's not the same. It's not the same. And bottom line, don't exaggerate it. Ghana has a way of being very, very firm with the language. I don't see how you can pronounce a word in Ghana like bo, like abosama bo to my bird. No. Once you bo, you've changed it. Once you bo, yeah, that's it. Abosama bo, my bird. No. So diction. Spoken about dynamics. Spoken about diction. Now this third bit goes to both music directors and individual vocalists. How do I choose a song for my choir to minister? Do I choose the song because I like it as my MD? As an MD? Whether my choir can sing it or not? You just heard a song by Travis Green. Your choir is a solid Esther Smith singing choir. But because you like the song, you have forgotten the capability of the people singing it. And you are forcing it down their throats. And it's the same thing for individual vocalists. The song has come. Nara. Also, tone guitar here, the miracle, like, take one. And now they to Nara. So how do I choose songs? Interestingly, music is so big that regardless how you sound, you always find your class. But sometimes because we haven't learned enough to know how wide it is and our options of choosing, we settle for the ones we know. And if you're a vocalist and you can't name 10 artists you sound like, you haven't started. And if you're a female vocalist who can pitch like Ohima Messi and you tell me the person you are learning from is Joe Metla Samato. So you see, bottom line, let's learn. Spend your time to learn. When you have to choose a song that tallies with the identity of the choir you are handling or the identity of yourself as a vocalist. Please, you understand? And that's why sometimes you come for choir rehearsals and your MD can push a song on you. Why don't you say you know to me too? The Tasha Cops are showing many as and now to enter. MDs, be real with your choir. Take time and know the strength of the choir you are handling. Every choir has its strength. But let me give you good news. The fact that your choir is on one level today doesn't mean it will stay there. That choir can develop depending on how much time and work you put into it as the leader of the group. So if you want your choir to sound like Potter's House one day, work it to get there. But don't force Potter's House on it. When it is not, we need to buy it. Someone. Please, you understand? Exactly. So study your choir. Know what they are capable of doing. And work them to where you want it to go to. And that comes with time, consistency, and frequency. And it's the same thing for instrumentalists, musicians. You are a keyboardist. Okoda usisino. Enyandu erolinsimo. Take time and learn. The fact that you have Kevin Bond touch doesn't mean we need Kevin Bond in every song. Hey, Kevin Bond. Do you want it? Please, do you understand? But the reason why you keep applying Kevin Bond everywhere is because that's all you know. You haven't taken time off to know the different chord expressions in different genres. How do I spell this do in jazz? How is it going to be spelled in waltz? How is it spelled in blues? How is it spelled in reggae? How is the same do spelled in a local song? It's not the same. It's not the same. So for those of us who are sensitive to what we hear, we raise a contemporary song and you spell the wrong chord for us, we are affected. Unfortunately for us, probably that's all you know. So learn. When you are a musician, don't apply by mimicking, apply by understanding. The fact that you heard a chord being played in a song doesn't mean apply it everywhere. Understand, why did that person play these notes here? But you go for a program and you see Bludo play some drum roll or Osei play some drum roll. You didn't even take time to understand why that drum roll was put there. What's the context? What's the meaning? What's the effect of that roll? Do a sorry, I'll suffer penny for a microphone. Nyami Shira I say I need my Bobby here, my boss say. We may laugh over these things, but they are happening. I bet you if I should take this microphone round and start asking some technical questions to our very own instrumentalists, why would you substitute one chord for another? They don't know. If I'm going to substitute one chord, which chord is relevant for the substitution? Which ghost note choice am I going to choose? Should we go around and have some questions? Hey. Wow, beti nyenye ode. Ya bejo lines in sefu nsemo. If you neko ebo tambourine. So please, take time and learn. When you learn by mimicking, you don't get to the root of it. But when you take time to learn from principle perspective, you can apply it well. Please, you understand? So the first thing is dynamics. Second thing is diction. Now, this is the last thing I want to leave you with. Right. The last thing I'm going to leave this generation of listeners with is actually a challenge to everyone here. Are you aware that the generation we have today lacks originality? Am I right? Are you aware you can trace almost 99% of the capabilities we have today to someone from the past? Am I making sense? Am I? Obi bien anwa, you can say, oh, that is Elder Mreku singing. But are you aware before Elder Mreku, there probably was no one like Elder Mreku? Before Daughters of Glorious Jesus, there was no one like Daughters of Glorious Jesus in Ghana. Before Osei, there was no one like Osei in Ghana. And before I take on to my seat, I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Create a unique identity for yourself and have tomorrow's generation mention your name to it. That's a lot of work. I want some 3-year-old child to grow up one fine day and say, I want to sing like Stanilas. I want to play drums like Eugene. Or this drum roll is called Edubex. So that's the challenge I'm leaving us with. If you are a vocalist in your church, have the kids in Sunday school grow up and say, I sing like Sister so and so. And just like people have been able to establish that niche for themselves, start doing your homework and find out how niches are created. And create one for yourself. It's not too late. But that's the challenge I'm leaving us with. If not, a time will come where there wouldn't be true identities in Ghana anymore. But guess what? Because it is so hard to create a niche for ourselves, we find it easy to mimic. There was a time in Ghana where Sonny Badu was active in music. Almost every young male minister was singing like Sonny Badu. That era kind of passed. And currently in Ghana, out of 100 praise and worship leaders, about 80 of them sound like Joe Mettle. What baffles my mind is there's still a section of people who sounded like Sonny Badu. Now they sound like Joe Mettle. And to me, some more transfer courses there. But what stops you from being you and learning from people, but be you? And it's amazing. Attitudes crack count. Now praise and worship because Joe Mettle does this. Oh. And they hold a mic like Joe Mettle. Where were you when your mother was giving birth to you? Why have you suppressed who you are and you've gone for someone else? And as long as the original still exists, no one will come for counterfeit. So it's about time you created your own originality. So that when we are needing someone to fill up that space, we'll look for you. Some years ago when I started singing, people were lynching me with thrills and flips and because it wasn't the thing at the time. Hey, get with your money, Mike. Hey, no bet. The same people who said it, now they do worse than I do. But guess what? At least you can't talk about flips and thrills without mentioning my name. So imagine if I altered to sound like Christiana Love, I would have been messing with the numbers. Create something for you and stand for it. Defend it and have another generation take up after you. That is called legacy. That is a life well lived. So that's our challenge tonight. Every one of you, in your drum playing, in your guitar playing, in your keyboard playing, in everything, create a niche for yourself. So that if someone should have the eyes closed and hear that drum roll, the person, Eugene, no, Eugene, hey, Eugene. Utia cake na, hey, Adum, nebo no, Adum. Please, do you understand? Yeah, exactly. So that's my challenge to all of us tonight. A lot of the technical things we may have to talk about. I think I started a show, PV show. If you're a vocalist and you want to update yourself, you can go check it out. And the relevance of that show is to pour out everything I've been able to learn over years to another generation, because there's no point dying with it. So go check it out. Forget about the English. Learn what you have to learn. And be a better person.